Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dave from the Medal of Honor channel, and once again I'm doing something a little different for you. Shorter video probably, but we'll see. This is going to be an in-depth view at the catalog for one particular band. You know, we all have those bands that they just hit us right when you first discover them, where you really get into it and you want to dive in more, and before you know it, you're buying everything of them. I have that every now and then. In this case, it is right here, Temple of Void. You might have heard about them lately. They've been getting a lot of notice. Temple of Void is a death doom band. They come from Detroit, Michigan, and I wanted to kind of break stuff down here and really just kind of help promote them a little bit. I think they deserve that, although they're doing quite well on their own. In fact, this will be the first video that I've done so far where it's not my music. Every video I've put out is my music in the background, whether it's the intro or the outro or all throughout the background, classical or the metal stuff. But yeah, this time I'm really giving all the focus to that band. So what you heard at the beginning there, and what you're hearing right now underneath, and what you'll hear at the end, and I'll give you some tidbits of some songs also along the way here. So we're gonna focus solely on Temple of Void. Temple of Void is a death doom band. If you're not familiar with death doom as a subgenre, it's pretty much just how it sounds. It's a combination of death metal and doom metal. It's more the vocals usually from death metal and maybe some of the subject matter. The elements of doom are more in that heaviness and the tempo, definitely. To me, it's one of the most powerful forms of music that there is, because I feel like I love some fast, aggressive stuff as well, but a lot of times that fast attack, you're really losing the depth of the guitar, and that's the thing I love most about metal, is that bigness of the guitar, that wall of sound. And I think the death doom definitely kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It's still aggressive, but it's so much darker, and the slower pace allows for the guitars to really ring out and be really powerful. It's the difference between, you know, an Uzi and a sawed-off shotgun that just nails you in the chest and knocks you on your ass, you know. So I prefer the sawed-off shotgun actually myself. So anyway, Temple of Void, just fucking badass. Like I said, this year they've really been getting a lot of notice. Maybe it's one of the benefits of COVID and people getting locked down is you got nothing else to do but get on the internet and see what's interesting out there. And a lot of people have been talking this. A lot of people in the vinyl community and in YouTube shows have been talking about Temple of Void. I've heard Liam from the Death Doom Metalhead channel talk about them. Of course, Matt from Accusation Network has talked about them. Mark C with the G has talked about them, and a lot of other people as well. And when I discovered them, I just fucking fell in love with this band. And so I've been buying up everything through Bandcamp. Bandcamp is a great way to buy your albums and to support bands, because usually a lot of the bands actually run their own Bandcamp page. It's a little bit more personal. Sometimes, as you'll see with this, you get a little more personal touch to the things you order. And also more money goes to the band, and in fact you can even donate more. Usually there's like a bottom line of, you know, here's how much they need for an album, but you can add more in if you want to show more support. And then when you buy an album, of course, you get the digital as well. So it's a really cool way to support bands. So definitely check out Temple of Void and other bands on Bandcamp if you haven't done that so far. So as I said, Temple of Void, they're from Detroit, Michigan, which is only 3 hours from where I'm from in Northwest Indiana. They formed in 2013, and this was a band comprised of 5 musicians who have had plenty of experience, decades of experience, if you will, in the metal scene, the underground scene in Michigan. These guys are, you know, probably mostly around my age, maybe early 40s, some late 30s. But they have a lot of experience that they brought to the band. In fact, I actually had a little bit of communication with Alex, the guitarist from the band, and asked them when they first got together if they did anything. Like, you know, a lot of bands when you first get together, you kind of start jamming some covers that you all know. And they actually, I think just the experience that they already knew they had, probably didn't need to do that. He actually said we felt each other out by bringing riffs and just jamming. So that's a pretty cool way to do it, I guess. You know, a good way to just start throwing riffs out there and quickly get into making music. Temple of Void made up their sound by kind of blending elements of British doom and blending that with American death metal. So kind of that's their bass sound, but there's actually quite a few influences involved. In fact, when I asked Alex about in particular his influences, because I actually asked him if any of the fans would be surprised at some of the influences. The answer was, I don't know if any of our fans would totally be surprised at this point. Most listeners aren't one-dimensional in their musical tastes, I assume, question mark. We all listen to more than just metal, right? Well, not a lot of metal fans, but some of us musicians, definitely. For me, I own more Miles Davis records than any other artist in my catalog, for instance. I'm really into hip-hop, especially British grime. I don't know what that is. I love Brit-pop. Oasis is probably my favorite group of all time. I love drum and bass. I love dream pop. What the fuck is that, Alex? I love grunge. I love shoegaze. What the fuck is shoegaze? I love krautrock. What? I love goth. There's so much out there that I listen to outside of metal. In fact, I definitely listen to more non-metal than metal. Doesn't mean I don't love Morbid Angel, I just get inspired by so much more than that. The rest of the guys have pretty eclectic taste too, and that's what makes Temple of Void who we are. It's being able to tastefully navigate these waters of influence and bring them together to create the best death doom we can. Well, that's a really good answer, and I've said it before, I think any good musician who's worth their weight will have different influences. You can't just listen to one kind of music and be a good musician. It does take a variety of stuff, and being able to create something so brutal as Temple of Doom does while having shoegaze, I don't know what that is, or Britpop or whatever as your influences, that's actually pretty impressive, and it's probably one of the reasons that makes them stand out. One of the reasons why I said I really like this band, even though there's tons of death doom bands, and I'm really getting more and more into that subgenre of music, but this band in particular really stood out for me. These guys, they put out their first demo in 2013, and it was on Archaic Sounds. Reports I saw, some said 3-song demo and some said 4-song. I'm not exactly sure on that one. But their first full-length album came out in 2014, and that is this, Of Terror and the Supernatural. This is the, you see the gatefold here. I'll show you. This show is all about albums and vinyl, so let me get a good look at this. And this one in particular came with, the vinyl is two different tones to it. This one is the flesh, colored clear vinyl there. And then the other one is more of a clear orange. There you go. There you go. Before I go any further, I should mention the lineup is Mike Arity on vocals, Jason Pierce on drums, Brent Satterley on bass, and he is also in charge of the merchandise, which you can buy through Bandcamp. Alex On, who I've been talking to, on guitar, and their latest member is Don Durr on guitar. He actually replaced Eric Blanchard a couple years ago. But anyway, ordering these albums through Bandcamp, and I always get a nice, cool little note from Brent. Actually even saying, thanks again, dude, hope all is well. And every one of these that I purchased, he sent me a little note along with it and a sticker. So like I said, really cool way to get your music on Bandcamp. A little more personal. All right, so I'm gonna let you check out a tune from this first debut full-length album. Now the first album here was put out on Saw Her Ghost Records in 2014. And the song is called Beyond the Ultimate. Now I'm sure from that you can hear varied influences of death metal, different types, European and American in there. In fact, when I asked Alex about the band's influences as far as their specific sound, what he said was, the band's musical influences are really varied, and that's probably the secret sauce to a certain degree. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. How we grew up, what we listened to, the paths we took, they're similar but different. We find in common ground on the similarities, but we find strength and innovation in areas that we diverge in. Our common ground is a love for heavy music. And obviously, when we formed TOV, we quickly settled on death doom as our genre. So we can all dig the classics like American death metal and classic European doom metal. The intersection of those two genres is the backbone of our sound. But we really push it by adding our own outside influences from post-punk, goth, industrial, grunge, rock, heavy metal, traditional doom, post-hardcore, and more. We'll talk about Quicksand or Killing Joke influence as much as we'll talk about Cannibal Corpse and Asphyx. So there you go. Now in 2017, they put out Lords of Death. This one was on Shadow King Records. And this one definitely got them a lot more notice. A lot more people were starting to talk about the band at this point. This particular album, let's see here. This one does not have a gatefold. There's the back of the cover there, though. Love the artwork that these guys have in their albums. Absolutely badass. This is the insert that came with it. Came with the lyric sheet there, and then the vinyl on this one. Let me find it. Ooh, it's got this kind of split green and flesh with this brown splatter in it. Goes wrong with death and doom, doesn't it? All right. So we'll check out a little bit of a song from that. This is Wretched Banquet. And again, that one came with, another little note and sticker from Brent there. Now they've really come into their own this year, 2020. You'll see at the end of the year when I do my top 20 albums of 2020, it's gonna be in my top, 3 or 4 albums. It's their latest release. This is The World That Was. This one, of course, is also on Shadow King Records. And I believe, again, beautiful artwork there. Amazing album. There's the insert, the lyrics there. And I have shared this one in a few different episodes of mine because the vinyl on this is just particularly beautiful. I really love it. I showed it before. It's that seafoam bluish green and white with the gold splatter in it. Just super cool. Yeah, this album, this is where I first got into them, and again, there's the sticker and the note from Brent. Thank you, Brett. Really appreciate that. This is where I got into them. A lot of people now have been discovering them. This is a song from that album. Let's check out a song from that album. This is A Beast Among Us. Gotten them a lot of attention. In fact, some big news for the band. I was asking Alex, new things that are what they've been working on or what things are coming for them. And one of the really cool things about what's happened is that they are now signed with Relapse Records. And if you know anything about metal music, you know Relapse is a great label for metal bands. So that should give them, you know, even more notice. So congratulations to the guys in Temple of Void for signing the deal with them. So they've got announcements that are going to be coming out. Hopefully we'll get to see them play. Now, they don't do a lot of touring. You know, like me, they're a little bit older. They've got families at home. When you got families, it's harder to, especially, you know, in a genre like this where there's not a lot of money. So you can't really just go off like when you're, you know, 19 and just go fucking live in a van. You got responsibilities and stuff. So, but hopefully, maybe we'll catch them doing a few shows here and there. I'll travel to a, you know, if they're playing a festival or something, I will definitely go check them out. There's other ways that you can hear more of these guys' music. One of those is a compilation album called 4 Doors to Death that was put out by Unspeakable Acts Records. It features Temple of Void, Nucleus, Ectoplasma, and Fetid Zombies, and they have 3 songs on that album. Also, they did a split album with Revel in Flesh, which is also on Unspeakable Acts. And it's just one song, a song called Harvest of Flesh that's on there, but that was put out in 2019, so that's something else you can check out. And then one of the coolest things that I found about these guys, and you can get all this stuff, like I said, you can get this on Bandcamp. One of the things that I thought was really cool was the only cover that these guys have ever done is actually a Celtic Frost. Of course, when it comes to Celtic Frost, most of us, you know, we're always talking about all the old stuff, but these guys were part of a album. It was a compilation album of cover tunes of Celtic Frost called Morbid Tales, and they chose to do a cover of Os Abysmi Veldath, which is on the original version, of course, is on Celtic Frost's Monotheist album, which is fucking badass album. If you've never heard that, it's incredible. It's just so big, so heavy, and the vibrato they use on their strings is really interesting. Really cool album. So anyway, it was cool to hear that of all of the Celtic Frost stuff they could have done a cover of, Temple of Void chose to do something off one of their last albums. So that's really cool to hear. You can check it out. In fact, let's hear a little bit of it right now. So as you can see, there's a lot of cool stuff to check out with these guys, and you know, more stuff coming in the future. So that's pretty much it for this. You know, I just wanted to kind of get the word out there and let you guys check out more about this fucking amazing band. Really, you should check them out. You can get all of their albums. You can get t-shirts. Although I gotta be honest with you, slim pickings on the t-shirts because you know, the people have been buying stuff up. So get on their Bandcamp. It's templeofvoid.bandcamp.com. Go on there and check out all the cool stuff. You can listen to, you know, some of the tunes on there before you buy them, you know, decide what you like. And support these guys. If you're already a fan of this band, share this video. Share it on social media. Let people know about it. And also, if you like this, I'd love to know what you think about this kind of style of video. Do you like the more in-depth look at one particular band? And if so, leave it in the comments. Let me know about it. And be sure to subscribe and check me out on all the other social media stuff. I'm putting out tons and tons and tons of videos, guys. I put out, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos a week, it seems like. So, you know, as long as I'm interested, as long as I'm getting a lot of feedback and this continues to grow, I'm going to keep putting stuff out there. So I absolutely appreciate all the support that I've been getting from everybody in here. So thank you again. And thanks to Alex and Brent and all the guys at Temple of Void. And of course, congratulations on Relapse, and looking forward to hearing more from you guys. All right, that's going to be it. Until next time, keep the horns up Keep the needle down.